Yeah, I'm not sure how far we'll delve into it, but it's about Asakura Kai. What kind of connection did you have, and what kind of connection do you have now is the question. What does Hiramoto Ren need to do to make it to the UFC? What kind of skills does he need? What's he lacking in his game?
He can't wrestle or grapple.
Right.
Honestly, Master Bridge, I kind of like you. I do like you, actually. You're a cool guy. We did an interview together once. I like him. But you call out Hiroya again, like, dude. Like, come on, dude.
Another one. Recently on X, there's this topic of, do we need jiu-jitsu and MMA? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, you need jiu-jitsu. Of course you do. Now. I don't mean it as an attack on them.
No, I think it's okay, Billy. It's all right. So I actually have this open chat where this line group where a bunch of MMA, boxing fans, martial art fans they're all kind of mingle there. And this morning I mentioned that Billy was going to come on my channel. Do you have any questions you want to ask? And I kind of got a couple of questions. Is it cool if I ask you some of those?
Please, fire away. Let's go.
This first one, yeah, I'm not sure how far we'll delve into it, but it's about Asakura Kai. What kind of connection did you have, and what kind of connection do you have now is the question.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's something I reflect on. I mean, obviously we had enough of a connection to where I left everything in America to move out to Japan to help him win a UFC title. So we had enough of a connection for me to do that. And we accomplished quite a lot of good things. And then things also didn't work out, maybe the way that we thought or planned. So, it's always tough when you mix like friendship and business.
Yeah.
So that's all I'll say on that. And then now is, now it's, I wish him the best. I hope he can figure his training out and figure out, everything and find success in the UFC.
I think he went up to bantamweight and he's going to possibly fight there. I actually forgot to ask you this in our last conversation, because Patchy Mix was cut after 2 UFC losses, right?
Right.
And then Kai is also have 2 UFC losses in a row. So, like, is there a possibility that there's actually no third fight? Because I believe there was this Japanese fighter called Kinoshita who was in the UFC at welterweight. And he had, like, I think 2 losses in a row. And then there was just this long period where he didn't have any fights. And we were all kind of, like, waiting what's going to happen. And then after that long period, he's like, oh, he's cut from the UFC. And he didn't have another fight.
Yeah.
So, like, is there a possibility Kai is kind of in that situation as well?
For sure. There's always a possibility. Obviously, him and his team would know best, or they either don't know at all, or they know that something's coming, like a fight is booked. So, and the public might not know that. So there's always a chance. I kind of heard an interesting story about Patchy getting cut. The timing was interesting, the way that it was. I had never heard of something the way that it happened, but I'm not sure if it's true.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, who knows? Who knows? I think the move to bantamweight, it's also a big question of like, who do you put him against to fight? I think it's a much harder question than the fans think. I see what all the fans say, and like, I think it's way more complicated than what you think.
Right. Okay. Did you see like on Twitter, someone like cut up, like, I don't know where the video came from, but like Kai was asked who he wanted to fight. If he could fight anyone, it was kind of like a hypothetical question. And he was like, Sean O'Malley.
Is that a new video?
I think it was recent. I saw it recently.
What's the context on it? Was it truly just like, hey, like if you could fight anybody at bantamweight, who would you want to fight? Or who do you think you're going to fight?
It was, who do you want to fight from like any organization, any weight class? And that was a hypothetical question. And then I guess the fact that he answered Sean O'Malley, a lot of hard MMA fans like, no, there's no fucking way you can fight O'Malley. What does O'Malley have to gain? And that kind of stuff. So
okay.
I feel a little bit bad for the guy.
Well, right now, at this moment, I guess anything's possible, but if he got booked with Sean O'Malley right now, that's, I think, crazy.
MyMoods 知ってますか？ポッド系ベープです。まあ、具体的に言うと、気分を変えるアイテムをコンセプトとして、まあ、このポッド系って言うと、これを、ポッドでしょ？はい。これを刺して、このまま吸える。オンとオフない。
ボタン操作なしで
使いやすい。はい、でこうたくさんポッドコーナー並んでるんですけど、ただこれをじゃあ俺は今柚子吸いたい。柚子
めっちゃ楽じゃん。
からの僕はやっぱレモンコークがいいやって。だからその気分を変えるっていうか、はい、甘いものがいいとか、いやすっきりするこのクールミント系がいいとか、で気分によって変わるじゃん。はい、これをちょっと 使ってその気分を変えられるっていう。
めちゃくちゃいいですね。
結構僕使ってます。
はい、
普通に素晴らしいです。で最近新しい味リリースして
お
僕が結構好きなのはこちらですよ、レモンコーク。
はい。
あとこのマンゴーにハマってた。
マンゴーめちゃくちゃ美味しいですよこれ。はい。
こっちだね、ごめんなさい。
Yes。
マンゴー、レモンコーク。両方ともめちゃくちゃ美味しい。一つの箱にポッド2つ入るんですよね。それをそのタバコに比べると、およそ20箱分相当だから。
そうなんだ。
そうだからタバコを減らしたい方、結構僕みたいにタバコ減らしたい方なんですけど、おすすめなんですよ。たまにただパフしたいものが
ね、本当に
欲しい
ね。
で味は美味しいし、ノーニコチンあるし、そのニコチンもあるのかなと思うんだよね。だからその選べられるんだよ、そのいろんな味とか種類とか。だからめちゃくちゃおすすめします。で、FamilytimeFT と格闘キャストの視聴者さんたちのためにMyMoods さんが半額クーポンコードを発行しました。FT30 です、皆さん。FT30 使ってください。何よりも吸ってその煙がたくさん出るじゃん。なんか、なんていうの、吸い心地っていうの、なんか
爆煙が楽しい。
いやなんかたくさんなんか吸って全然煙がなんか何も出ないと、何も吸ってないっていう感覚なんですけど、そういう部分でその満足感があるんだよ。なんかタバコみたいな満足感があるっていうのがいいから、興味ある方は概要欄チェックしてください。クーポンコードも下に貼ってるのでお願いします。
よろしくお願いします。
Well, right now, at this moment, I guess anything's possible, but if he got booked with Sean O'Malley right now, that's, I think, crazy. And that's no offense to him, but I think like if that's his ideal fight, like he wants to fight and showcase or his skills against O'Malley, and that's his dream. I think it's possible. I don't like it's possible to happen in his career. But right now, I mean, you look at deductive reasoning. Here's my MMA deductive reasonings for you. Sean O'Malley just beat Song Yadong, and they basically it was a striking battle. Basically, Song Yadong beat Ricky Simone in 100% striking battle, 5 rounds. Why don't you try to fight Ricky Simone? Because you know he's going to strike with you. Why don't you try to fight, well, I guess Bashrat just got cut, but the guy that he just fought, Gianni Vasquez, who's a flyweight that went up to bantamweight, that's a striker. Like, those are legit fights that, like, are very competitive, you know? Why not fight one of those first?
But realistically thinking, it would probably
that's
be like right?
That would be the logic behind it, but that's, you know, it's just a complicated thing, because what do you do with Kai? If you fight Kai against a top 10 guy, or a top 15 guy, I think 3 good matchups for him would be Kyler Phillips, Montel Jackson, and Rob Font.
Okay.
Let's say he beats one of those. Who the fuck is going to fight next? You have to fight a killer. You have to fight a killer. Maybe that's the move, because he's already lost 2 fights, and they want maybe if they were to do that, they'd want him to see, okay, you have 1 chance. Let's see what you can do.
Right.
So I can understand that logic, but I would think if I was his team and I was really looking out for Kai, I would be really lobbying to fight a good matchup. It doesn't have to be a big name. Because, for example, the Japanese fans probably don't know Gianni Vasquez. They probably don't know Ricky Simone. They probably don't know Kyler Phillips or Montel Jackson or Rob Font even. None of those names really matter. You know, not that they don't matter. They're all good fighters, but you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're all the same to the Japanese fans.
Because the American fans don't care who Kai fights. There's no super fight for us that we're like, oh, we dream to see Kai fight them. Hopefully we see him fight, and hopefully he does a great performance and knockout like he's known for doing. You know?
Yeah, he just needs to knock one person out to kind of like get a little bit of a traction going.
It could be a bus driver, dude. It doesn't matter who it is.
Does the UFC really consider that though? Like, are they gonna like actually try to match him up against a striker? Does the UFC even do that?
Yeah, they do that. Okay. I mean, I think that they like look for good matchups for good guys. There's still sometimes there's still A side and B side fighters, and not every fight's a competitive 50-50, you know? I don't think that's crazy. I think it's possible.
That's cool.
And I hope that happens.
But like, how far are we gonna do this? Like, I hope he gets matched up with the striker kind of thing, because like,
we need to see him. We need to see him win. They gave they hand selected him. He was the A side against Tim. Like, look at the spread. Like, and Tim's a good fighter. He's a difficult guy to fight. You have to have a very good, gas tank, good wrestling defense, and like a good solid game plan, which I don't think happened. So like, I don't know what happened in that fight, but they gave him a fight to win.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
That was in the top 10. Who else was there for him to fight that wasn't going to be a huge challenge?
Yeah, the problem is that he kind of, with Kai, not the problem, but like the conundrum is like he started at the top. And if it doesn't work out, well, then all you have is to go down. And then it's kind of like that, Elliot, and then he just couldn't win there. So we have to go one more step down is kind of the thing, even though if we go up another weight, I would imagine.
I would love to see him fight somebody outside of the top 15. I don't want to see him fight a top 15 guy. If I were him, I would be looking for a good matchup. You know, he's got a brand new coach again for the third fight in a row. Maybe this is the coach. Maybe this is the best coach for him. But he doesn't know that. He has not gone to battle with his coach in his corner. So it's like, you know, like, let's get a win, dude. You have a lot of reasons why you just need a win.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk about this topic, this one question forever. But like, do you know any fighter that has success, like that kind of just switches gyms and coaches quite frequently? Like, I can't think of anyone.
I mean, I think there's been guys in the past, but I think it's usually at like higher weight classes, like less technical weight classes, where guys have like big power or just like natural ability. But I think like if you were to look at, I don't know if this is necessarily comparable, but if you were to compare Merab to Kai, let's just say Merab has superstar wrestling and control, and Kai has superstar striking, right? Let's just say that they're even.
Okay.
Merab's wrestling is equal to Kai's striking. When you make mistakes in striking, it's obvious, and everybody knows your weaknesses now, and they're going to exploit them. Like, look what happened to Israel Adesanya. That's a good example. So it's harder to find those weaknesses with wrestlers.
Okay.
And grapplers. Like, they can hide them better.
Huh.
Like, the fight always starts on your feet, so you have 3 chances if it's 3 rounds to expose somebody's weaknesses. And I think a lot of his weaknesses, Kai's weaknesses, have been exposed. Just like Patchy Mick said in that interview recently. Like, he said he's a great fighter. Kai is a great fighter. Kai's a great striker, and Kai can certainly knock people out, but some weaknesses have been exposed.
And it just shines more when it's within the stand-up aspect.
You live by the sword and you die by the sword, because the knockouts are beautiful, but then the losses are pretty tragic.
Right. All right, so let's just hope we see them match him up with a striker.
Listen, I just want to see him win. I want to see him win a fight, and like I'm just saying right now, from my perspective, it doesn't need to be a top 15 guy. It wouldn't matter. Like, why not win it? Why not beat a non-ranked guy and then go beat a Kyler Phillips or go beat a Rob Font if you can, and then maybe challenge another striker, a Song Yadong, who's very good.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Song Yadong, hopefully.
You know, there's a lot of good paths for him.
Yeah, hopefully he also has a fight in, one more at bantamweight.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too.
I would think he would. I don't see why he wouldn't, but you never know.
You never know. All right, moving on. What does Hiramoto Ren need to do to make it to the UFC? What kind of skills does he need? What's he lacking in his game?
He can't wrestle or grapple.
Right.
So like he's at featherweight. That's a really tough division. Like that's a really hard division. So I think he would need to improve his wrestling and grappling.
Right. Simple question, simple answer. So Shinosuka, you call him Master Bridge.
Master Bridge.
Yeah. So what would he need to do to revenge his loss to Hiroya?
Honestly, Master Bridge, I kind of like you. I do like you, actually. You're a cool guy. We did an interview together once. I like him. But you call out Hiroya again, like, dude, fucking learn how to wrestle and grapple. Like, come on, dude. I'm making a call right now. I want to see Master Bridge versus Jolly. That's what I want to see.
Oh, yeah, because he can actually grapple, right, Jolly?
Yeah, he can actually grapple. So it's like, okay, well, I think Hiroya is stronger than Jolly. So it's like, well,
for sure.
Let's see if Master Bridge can beat Jolly.
That's interesting. That's actually a good one, yeah. Jolly surprised, I think, everyone when he submitted Ashizawa.
Oh, crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Crazy. It was cool. I think Jolly was, I've met him a couple times, really nice guy. I'm happy for him. I think that's such what a cool experience for him.
Yeah.
Like, really.
Man, I like Ashizawa. So I was like, oh, come on, man.
I actually like Ashizawa too. I think he's cool.
But yeah, it's a good matchup. Master Bridge versus Jolly. I like that one. Okay, so well, to answer the question, yeah, he kind of same answer as
wrestle and grapple.
Same as Hiramoto.
And again, the answer to both of them, I think they love MMA and they're working hard, I think. But maybe what you think you're doing is right in training, and maybe you think you're working hard. Go somewhere that really works hard. And go learn, and then come back and implement that at your gym.
I think Hiramoto had a past of going to Duke Rufus and McGregor's done, right?
Yeah, I think Hiramoto knows what it means to work hard, and I think that's why you've seen him get a lot of popularity, have great fights, and start climbing the ladder. So, like, I think the big turning point will be like, can he avenge his loss against Chihiro Suzuki? Can he beat Smoker? Can Kubo Yuta is a good fight. That's a tough one. So
Sure, that's good too.
Any of those, like, can you rattle those wins off, and then maybe fight some other guys with some grappling and go from there.
All right, cool. Another one. Recently on X, there's this topic of, do we need jiu-jitsu and MMA? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, you need jiu-jitsu. Of course you do. You need submission defense. You need attacks. You need to be able to understand, like, how to maintain position and threaten attacks that will help you advance position, even if it's not to finish. So yes, you need jiu-jitsu. Now, what I would give advice to you, if you're a young guy, I don't think you need to waste your time with a gi. And I think you should focus on specific rule sets that favor top pressure jiu-jitsu and not laying on your back. Like, I think the biggest waste of time you could do is have a coach that, even if they're super good at jiu-jitsu, but watch their competitive matches. If they just lay on their back and they play like the guard game, like that's their game, stay away from them. It's not good for MMA. That's my opinion. Like, and I'm not that they aren't good jiu-jitsu practitioners, not that they're not, I'm sure they know what they're doing. My opinion would be, if you want to focus on MMA and you don't come from that background of jiu-jitsu, stay away from that style.
Right. So unless you came up from, like, your backbone is jiu-jitsu.
I'm speaking in reference to the UFC. If you're in the UFC, don't be fucking laying on your back, dude. You're going to get hurt. Or you might even learn how, if you get taken down, you think, okay, let's go to guard. Well, you better also know how to wrestle, because you're going to get, like in Kai's position, he went from butterfly, kicks the guy off. Great. Good job. Or whatever he did, K-guard or butterfly, I don't remember. Great job. But then he like went to turtle and like reached for a leg. It's like, and gets caught in a guillotine. It's like, that's the problem of wrestling with that gi style, or that on your back style jiu-jitsu. So that's my 2 cents. I would say find a jiu-jitsu grappler like a Kenta Iwamoto in Japan. He's amazing. Go with a guy like that if you can.
Right.
Or like go to, Australia's got great jiu-jitsu, Thailand's got great jiu-jitsu, America's got great jiu-jitsu, like for MMA.
Right. So you need jiu-jitsu that's like tailored towards an MMA fighter.
Yes. Now, and again, I'm speaking about the UFC. If you fight in any international promotion, yes, you need that style. If you fight in one championship, Shinya Aoki has shown us that you can lay on your back.
All right.
But he's also really, really good. In Ryzen, Fat Ninja, he lays on his back and he's really, really good. So there's certain promotions where you can get away with it more, but I don't think you can get away with it in UFC or international promotions as easily.
In Japan, there's this trend, not really a trend, but there's kind of like the same there's a topic of like, you don't need to weight train. Is the same thing kind of going around in America?
No, everybody weight trains. That's fucking crazy. And I have my bookshelf in front of me. I could pull out, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 books, like textbooks about weight training in sports. And here's what I'll say about that. You can't just weight train. You can't train like a bodybuilder. You can't do that stuff. And I've seen a lot of strength coaches in Japan. I'm sure there's great ones, but I've seen a lot of stuff on YouTube that's like, dude, what are you doing? No knock on it. I just think the education is not there yet. But imagine this. You're in the UFC and you're in the top 10, right? And let's just say, like, whatever your backbone is, you have good defenses or strategies against other styles, right? So then basically everybody's skill set, except for the champ maybe, is about the same. You look at like the top 10, you're like, okay, any of these guys could be any of these guys. What is going to separate you from that? Because you're fighting within a rule set. So since you're fighting within a rule set, you have to separate yourself, and that's going to be from strength, from speed, from flexibility, from reaction time. And so really, if you look at strength training in 2 ways, if you're strength training with a coach that maybe isn't super educated, they can still be good, and maybe they can make you stronger.
Right.
So maybe that's positive. But the most important thing that we are, like in the States, we're really focusing on is your central nervous system. We're training your central nervous system to activate and to access power and strength in different positions and at different moments. And so, yes, it's incredibly, incredibly important.
And everyone does it.
Everyone does it.
I think in Japan, it's getting a little bit better. Like, there's actually like strength and conditioning coaches that, I mean, their main focus is like combat athletes, like MMA, kickboxing. Like boxing is a little bit more old school, and that trend is kind of like taking a little bit longer to get there.
Well, same in America though. Like boxing in America, like they're still a little bit, I think, behind on weight training. Now, Terrence Crawford, for example, like I know his strength conditioning coach very well. I actually have his book with me. It's one that I reference a lot, and he does a lot of strength and conditioning. So yeah, I think and that's good. I think it's a learning curve, and I think the fact that there's S&C coaches in Japan that are trying to really coach and focus on combat athletes is a super positive thing.
We kind of already touched on this topic, but like you had experiences coaching Mirab, so like how did he put on that incredible stamina? Like if he has any like training methods?
He just, I think like one thing that you can't ignore, and I'm a big believer in, and I think this kind of actually talks about the strength and conditioning a little bit too, is like he works hard. Like he works really hard and he goes really hard. Everybody wants to train smart, and they want to think like, oh, I'm doing the smart thing. I'm getting my recovery. And yes, there's a time and place for that. But overall, like you just have to do really hard things and do a lot of it. Like that's what you have to do. Like
just a lot of work, basically.
The best way to get good at wrestling is by wrestling. The best way to get good at jiu-jitsu is by doing jiu-jitsu. The best way to have endless cardio is by doing a lot of hard conditioning rounds. Whether that's running in the mountains or with Mirab, we used to wrestle live for an hour straight in compromised positions. So it's not like it's just like we're wrestling on our feet. We're wrestling in a compromised position that's you have to work hard to get out of. Yeah, I think also what fighters should do is drill wrestling a lot. Drill takedowns a lot. And I know they don't all translate perfectly to MMA takedowns, but it will build your conditioning and stamina to where you're getting taken down, you're working back up, you're back on your feet. So you keep going up and down for an hour, back and forth. And that up and down will really help your conditioning.
Right. That's a solid answer. I think when people ask these questions, they expect this scientific kind of,
I hope those are good answers. Right? Maybe they're too much.
No. Right? I think that's what it is, though.
Well, I tell you, most of the people that want the scientific stuff is like, let me ask you, if you have a guy in Japan that goes and studies strength and conditioning at a college, what are they studying from? A textbook.
Yeah.
Who are the case studies in the textbook? They're normal people. They're not athletes. And also another thing that happens in like university systems, even in America, this isn't a Japan or America thing. This is the same as America. A lot of the case studies are done on average people. And a lot of what is being looked at is they're trying to seek balance in an athlete, like balance all their skill sets, for example. And they're doing this in a controlled environment. Okay. So there's three things right there. But now the reality is if you've been around a super high level athlete, like you'll realize very quickly, like there's no control system. Some of them like to drink alcohol. Some of them don't like to sleep much. They don't like to sleep much. Some, whatever their thing is. So that's one thing. And then another thing is they're really imbalanced because we aren't looking, generally speaking, to fight for more than a small window of time in their life. So they might not do the most healthy thing, but that unhealthy thing actually helps them excel in the sport. And so maybe once they retire, they're going to have problems. Right. And a lot of fighters do. Yeah. A lot of fighters do. But you'd be very surprised when you get to the upper level of athletics, how many athletes are like super imbalanced. Or they have like weird things, like they can't bend over and touch their toes.
Yeah.
Like they're not flexible, but you're like, wait a second, you're a pro athlete that can jump and knee somebody in the head. Like, why aren't you flexible? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's pretty strange. So like that's another thing that, if you have an S&C coach or anything that doesn't have experience in that, it's hard for them to understand that.
Right. Is that something you should fix though? Like for the athlete, let's say like you just mentioned, you could do like all the athletic movements pretty much, but then he's just like so inflexible he can't touch his toes.
No, not necessarily. Okay. I mean, maybe if it's like I'm not saying it's case by case. So like this isn't a straight answer, but like easier example would be if you have a fast twitch athlete versus a non-fast twitch athlete. Like, so you're somebody that maybe they're very strong in like 6-second bursts, but they're not very strong if they go hard for more than 10 seconds. And I have some athletes that I coach like that now. I'm not going to take that fighter and teach them how to fight a volume game. Like they will never throw volume because if they throw volume, they will never be able to use their fast twitch muscles. So we have to change the plan. We have certain guys that can just fight at the same level hard for 15 minutes. Then we have other guys like they have to sprint and then they have to move and dance and act like they're fighting and they need to recover and then they have to sprint again.
Yeah.
You can't change that. And if you try to change that because the the most optimal thing to do would be to change that, you'll really, I think, negatively affect your
So you
fighter.
just tailor it to the athlete mainly.
Yeah,
All
for
right.
sure.
Cool. I think we answered all those questions. Next time, I'll probably put a post on Twitter. We'll probably get a lot of questions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I
Like
just
a
did this
whole-
in my little small space. I think a lot of people would like to ask you a couple of questions.
Yeah, I hope that wasn't too like I don't want it to be translated in like the wrong way. There's great coaches in Japan. I think like, and I don't know of them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, it's
not
totally
like,
cool.
It's not like an attack on. I don't mean it as an attack on them.
No,
Yeah.
I think it's okay, Billy. It's
Cool,
all right.
Cool.
Before
Yeah.
the fight, I want to hear like your breakdown on like both guys. It'd be very interesting, I think, for the fans.
Yeah, like I mean, would you post it before or after the fight?
Before would be cool.
It would be cool. You're right. It'd get the most hype.